Good afternoon, I'm Miranda Mims, and again, I'm representing the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture. We are located up in Harlem. I don't know if you've been to Harlem yet. This is a picture of our old reading room in the 1920s. We are actually one of the four research divisions of the New York Public Library. We started off, actually, this middle building here. This is a picture of the branch in 1905, back when the neighborhood was predominantly Jewish. But due to the Great Migration, the Harlem Renaissance, a lot of African Americans migrating up from the South, people coming over from the Caribbean, our neighborhood really changed a lot. And in the mid-1920s, our collection policy started to change based on the needs of the people in the community around the branch. So one of our head librarians at that time, Ernestine Rose, coupled with a few other very important people during that time period, including James Weldon Johnson, who's a writer, and Arthur Schomburg, got together to really put this center on the map and make it a premier research institution where people could come from all over the world to research the history and culture of Black people from all over the world. And Arthur Schomburg was actually a Puerto Rican-born Black bibliophile who just collected material throughout his life. And he was gracious enough to donate his entire collection to the New York Public Library, which really put the Schomburg on the map. And as you can see, he collected thousands of books, etchings, arts, manuscripts, ephemera, basically whatever he could get his hands on. And his collection was extremely rich. And the center was named for him in 1940 after his death. So we started off in that first picture in just one reading room. We have expanded. We are constantly going under renovation. Actually, we're undergoing renovation currently. But we are now in 5 different research divisions. Our artifacts, as you can see, will be image, recording sound, photographs and prints, and the manuscripts, archives, and rare books division, for which I am an archivist. We collect many different subjects and things, from the African diaspora, Caribbean history, abolition, slavery, Reconstruction, women's rights, education, you name it. This is one of our broadsides representing the African diaspora. This is in celebration of Emperor Haile Selassie, which you can sort of see this image in the back, his birthday. There was a strong Ethiopian community, and they threw this birthday ball for him. And this is actually, as you can see, it's a little worn in certain areas where you can see where the adhesive sort of ate away at the poster board. Other things that we have in our collection, you see this broadside here, a little bit difficult to read, but it's actually for a reward for another great man named Frank Mullen, and that was published in 1835. This letter here is actually a very interesting letter. It was written by James Tate to his wife and children. James was in Georgia. This is in 1863, I believe. And he's writing to his wife and children who were sold away from him. And so this letter is actually very interesting because it shows a lot of the hardships that African Americans went through in trying to maintain their family while enslaved. Also, he had a good relationship with, we believe it's either the daughter or the wife of the plantation owner, because she actually wrote this letter on his behalf. Other types of correspondence that we have within the collection, our collection is so amazingly rich in the performing arts. This is just a taste. This is from the Thomas Vance Waller collection, who wrote Ain't Misbehaving, Keep Shuffling. One of my favorite songs is I Just Can't Love You Because Your Feet's Too Big. Yes. And he was a very impassioned man, and you can't really tell from this, I wish I had it in person, but his he was always on the fly. I mean, he just lived a fast life. He's writing here to his manager, Philip Ponce. He's saying, it's a matter of life and death. I need $75. The other one is like, my wife, really don't fail me, please. My wife just needs $100. Please send it as quick as you can. I mean, he was always, he was just a very interesting character, very colorful character from Harlem. Other things that we have in the performing arts, we have a great collection of ephemera broadsides representing Ira Aldridge, who was a Shakespearean actor. He started off in New York, born in New York. 1807, we believe, and actually it was Arthur Schomburg who helped research the date of Ira Aldridge. He was very much involved with the genealogy for Aldridge. But then eventually started touring throughout Europe. He was very well known for playing his role as Othello. And you can see we have different types of broadsides. Some on newsprint, some on cardboard, and this one actually is from a Royal Theatre, and that's actually on silk. Women in United States history. This, we have lots and lots and lots of passports, but this is one of my favorites. This represents Philippa Schuyler, who was born here in Harlem. She was a pianist, a composer, as well as a writer. She toured over 70 countries around the world. She was renowned. And you see this first one, she's representing herself as Philippa Schuyler. But she tried to come back to the United States to get books, and she had a really hard time. This is during the 50s, 60s. Actually getting an opportunity here in the States because of race relations. So she changed her identity. And she is now, in this passport, she is Philippa Montero E. Schuyler, from Iberian background. It's very interesting. She's got a wig on. You can sort of tell. A little bit different. And this is a lot of the ticket stubs from a lot of the different countries that she toured in. You see Vietnam at the top. There's Nairobi, Kenya, one from Italy, one from London. She performed, as you can see, in front of or before some really prominent heads of state, like Kwame Nkrumah, President of Ghana, and as well as Queen Elizabeth. And this is a few of her passports, the interiors of passports. And you can see some of the different stamps. You have Egypt over here. I believe this one is Senegal. The one in the middle is Ethiopia, and then down at the bottom, I believe, is Nigeria. Lots of different stamps within her passports. And this is just a taste picture. She has quite a few from all the different places she toured. Another look at some of the things, some of the broadsides that we collect from representing the African diaspora. In the middle is a poster for an election that happened in Angola. This first one is a poster in solidarity for people of African descent in Brazil. And then we also collect newspapers. This newspaper actually has a lot of preservation issues, and so it was encased with accent green clear paper. And this is of the Negro World, and it was a publication by Marcus Garvey, who started the United Negro Improvement Association in Jamaica in 1914, and the paper came out in 1918. Other things we have is a ballot. This is the official ballot for South Africa. At the top is Nelson Mandela. There's also some programs representing the ANC, which Mandela was a member of. Also a flag that people probably have gotten at a rally. And an election observer badge that was worn by Haywood Burns, who was a civil rights lawyer and activist, and he went over as an official observer during the time of the election in 1994. Other things we have in the collection. This is a program from the First Baptist Church, and it was signed by Martin Luther King Jr. We also have other signatures. This is one from Rosa Parks for an envelope and as well as a stamp representing Harriet Tubman. This is one of my favorite entities, actually, in Harlem. These are two flyers from the 369th Regiment Armory. This armory began in 1933, and it was built for the 369th Regiment, which was the first African-American regiment to fight in World War I. They were also known as the Harlem Hellfighters. You see, one of the flyers is for the Black American Cowboy Rodeo. And this one, these two women down here, this is for the first professional women's boxing match in New York. And last but not least, which everyone seems to have in their collection, we've got a few from the Cotton Club, which is a pretty famous restaurant in Harlem, still in Harlem, as well as Joe Lewis's restaurant. We've got Josephine's at the bottom here, and Sylvia's at the top, which is always has a line outside the stores still today. And that's just a taste of some of the ephemera and some of the collection items that we have at Schomburg. And if you have a chance to get up to Harlem, 135th Street, our doors are always open. Thank you.